Hi, welcome back to a brand new video of the Targeted Individual Program, Targeted Individual Experience. So, just up to date on what's happening today. What happened today? It is now 10:38. So, I have been trying to call my kids all day. Okay, my son, his phone was off. I call his mom again. And again, I go through this every now and then with her because this is how they condition whenever they you sort of target me a certain way heavily. She'll try to, and particularly when she now she's now feeling the pressure. So now she's like, "Oh, I need help," and I'm just ignoring her. Okay, so I called her. Hey, calling Ethan. This was like around what was it 12 o'clock, right? She says that, oh, he's eating. So I said, okay, well, tell him to call you back in an hour after you finish eating. I didn't hear back from him. I'll call him back around 2:30. His phone went into voicemail. Again, I called her. Hey, can you tell Ethan to call me? He didn't call me. So I called him back at 7 o'clock. Phone's still off. Called his mother. I said, hey, I'm still trying to get Ethan. He still haven't called me back. She's like, oh, he's playing the game. So the whole day she's been locked up in her room, except for she went to make him breakfast, what have you. So she's been locked up in her room, and then she started doing his hair, what have you. And I keep telling her, stop doing this kid's hair late on Sunday night. So again, another Sunday in which she's doing his hair late, right? So then she's like, telling me about, oh, how tired she is. And I'm like, listen, that's your choice, okay? That is the choices that you made. That's not to say it's totally your choice because you've been manipulated, and I've been trying to tell you how it is that you're being manipulated, but you don't want to listen. So, it's nothing I can do. Like I said, you can't beat a dead horse back to life, right? You cannot uh, uh, speak to someone who is so conditioned, right, that they just don't want to hear anything. Particularly from a person like myself. Again, we have two kids together. But the fact is that they have been sending her these honey traps, these dudes that supposedly have money but really don't. You know, they may drive nice cars, what have you, but they really don't. And again, I keep saying it, they're using you. You are not their type. They're using you because again, they're attacking me, and so by manipulating you is what happened. I keep telling her, I said, do not date anyone if they're not going to take you seriously. Okay, if it's just for sex, don't bother. But today's women, they don't want to deal with men in terms of relationship wise. They just want the booty call. Like it's become like a normal thing now. Like women keep saying, these young women saying, yeah, they ran the train on me, and they feel very happy about that. That used to be so embarrassing back in the days, right? But now even older women my age have that mindset. So it's all women across all the board, right? They are being manipulated and conditioned a certain way. So I said to her, um, you know, please have him call me. This was like around 7:30, right? 'Cause I think it's very disrespectful. I've been calling him. I said, I've asked you to have him call me. He has not called back. So I said that's very disrespectful. And again, she doesn't see it that way because she didn't grow up with a father. So that has part to do with it, right? And I got to tell her, I said all the time, I said, you keep saying, oh, he's a teenager. It doesn't matter. He's not, first of all, I'm his father, right? So when I call to say hi to him or to see how he's doing, if I'm not, if it's the weekend, it's not my weekend, I call my kids. And particularly us as black people, we are being conditioned to separate ourselves from our kids. We are being, particularly a black woman, they look at young black boys in particular in the same eyes as these white racists do, right? As grown men, right? And our sons, our teenagers, they're not grown. And I'm tired of talking to, these mothers about that. Okay, they're teenagers. They're not grown. They're not your men. Stop trying to turn them into house husbands. Okay, they're children. All right. So anyway, so I went onto Discord and I called him on Discord, and then he finally turned on his phone and text me back. Right? He texted me saying that he actually sent me a message on Discord saying that he's going to call me, on his phone. So when he did call me, I spoke to him. I spoke to him about it. I said, that this mindset that you have, it needs to change. I said, I know it's coming from. I didn't tell him it was from her mother, from his mother, but I was like, you know what? I said, look, when I call you, okay, I'm not calling you to be a bother to you. I'm your father. I'm here to check up on you. I'm here to when I speak to you, when I talk to you, it is also to help you understand that as you get older and and when you have children, right? If you're not married and if you get divorced or what have you, or you have kids, that you call and you check up on your kids, that you be there for your kids. Okay? Regardless of the circumstance. Because again, how we are conditioned, particularly as black men, we are conditioned to walk away from our kids because of the mothers and their behavior. They don't. I keep saying, women mindset are easily manipulated. They're manipulated by money, by material things, and by sex. Okay, so you have to understand that when dealing with certain types of women, you have to understand their mindset. Yeah, right? And you also have to understand your mindset as a man. Okay, but we are being so manipulated that we don't have, particularly in the black community, where we most of us have I would say the vast majority of us have a backwards way of thinking. And that, as Dr. Amos Wilson says, and you can see it. You can see it, and then there are the black people who may be in the middle class or the upper middle class, and they think that they're different from everybody else. They adopt the same white supremacist mindset. Okay, and again, I keep I go on Facebook and people keep making posts that we're gonna have to leave some of our people behind. I'm like, no, you don't have to leave nobody behind. You need to educate them, teach them the truth, give them the truth so they can have an understanding of who they are, right? So they have knowledge of self. And when they have knowledge of self, then you're going to see a profound change within them. Because now they're going to make a conscious effort to not be the way they've been conditioned. When they're able to be awakened and realize that they're being conditioned a certain way, they are going to do what they need to do to reverse the conditioning, right? So, again, this is why they keep and they fight against people that have knowledge of self, particularly black people that have knowledge of self, right? That are proud to be black, that are trying to do good for the black community, that are fighting for black people. They will get everybody, including other black people, to turn against them. And remember, these individuals, these racists, they're on the police force, they're in corporate America. They know what it is that they're doing. Okay, they know that they've been engaging in covert warfare, covert psychological warfare, environmental warfare, medical warfare, chemical warfare. We don't like to think of these things as a war, particularly as black people, but it is a war against us. And until we start to think of it as that, then we're going to continue to suffer, and our children are going to continue to suffer. And when we're not here, they're going to have it worse. Okay? So I already told you guys, they have already told me that, again, mass unemployment, which you're going to see happening, right? Why? Because to keep people, ever since the pandemic hit, right? So the pandemic hit, people begin to have more time to do research to see the truth, right? And a lot of people are understanding what is going on, right? And the elites, they are fighting back against that. This is why you start to see the influx of migrants. I was reading one of these companies, they're laying off 1,200 workers, and they're hiring over 5,000 migrant workers. Why? Cheap labor. And I keep saying it. These elites, they think that they're different. They think that they're the gods, and we are their subject. Okay, so until we awaken our mind, which again is a very difficult thing to do, very very difficult. All right, technology is involved in manipulating us and controlling us and conditioning our mind, and because we don't like to think that's possible because of our religious belief system, that's how they keep you ignorant. All right, so sorry for the long sidetrack, but anyway, so spoke to my son, spoke to my daughter, and I told my daughter I love her. She's like, I love you, daddy. Told my son I love him. He's like, Okay, have a good night. I said, wait. I said, I told you I love you. I don't get a I love you too, Dad. He's like, I said, no, you didn't. I didn't hear you. So then he says, I love you too, Dad. So I said to him, I said, Ethan, don't ever feel uncomfortable telling your father that you love him. Don't be uncomfortable telling your uncle that you love them. Don't be uncomfortable telling your family that you love them, your sister that you love her, your mother that you love her. And I had to explain to him. See, my son at his age, right, which is something that I didn't have an opportunity to do with my elder son because of his mother and how far he lived. So because I see my two youngest almost every day, right? So I'm able to communicate with them, and particularly my son, a lot more, right? So, for example, I'll have them sit down and we'll watch the Comedic Learning Center, which is a YouTube channel that basically explain Comedic spiritual belief system. So they have a concept, right, of African belief system and not the European. So when they'll understand how the European took the African spiritual concept as well as other, whether it be the Sumerian, whether it be Canaanite and Hebrew belief system, and crafted into this religion that we have today, as well as Islam also, that they begin to understand, that they know, right? So, and they don't like that, the powers that be. Like I said, whenever every time I try to teach my kids anything, they'll use the sirens. Whenever I try to discipline them, they'll use the sirens. Why? To take away educating our kids beyond the indoctrination of the school system and the religious indoctrination within the churches, right? And the mosque, the synagogue, what have you. But yes, I told myself, listen, don't ever. I said one thing that they don't want us to do as black people is to show and to tell each other that we love each other. Okay, so don't ever feel. I say if you ever get the feeling of feeling uncomfortable, to say I love you, mommy, to say I love you, Alyssa, or I love you, daddy, or what have you. I said you keep saying it over and over again. You say it every day, okay, until you get comfortable, so that you no longer feel ill or uncomfortable or uneasy telling your mother you love her, telling your father you love him, telling your sister you love her, telling your aunt, your uncles that you love them. Okay, and so and again, so for me, being able to tell them these things, it's important. And like I said, as black fathers, we need to, and as black men, we need to become more serious about what's going on, right? Like I said, we need to reclaim our place. All right. Talk to you guys in the next video.